Namaste. We now come to the last part of this series on Hindu philosophy. Here we will see some of the important commentaries on Vedanta philosophy. All these commentaries are based on Prasthana Trayi. The Vedas have been the foundation of Hindu religion and culture for millennia. The philosophy of Vedanta based on Upaniṣads. Hence it is but natural that Brahma-sūtras of Bādarāyaṇa has attracted the attention of the distinguished scholars over the years, who have enriched the Vedanta literature by their brilliant expositions. All these commentators have evinced great respect for Bādarāyaṇa and his monumental work. They have tried to critically examine all other schools that were important during their days and to prove the superiority of Vedanta over them. Of course, they were equally keen to establish their own school of Vedanta also. Here we will see list of commentaries or bhashyas directly on the Brahma-sūtras. So we will go the bhasyakar, the period and which school of Vedanta they have propagated. So first one is the Adi Shankaracharya. This was during 788 to 820 AD. The philosophy or the school of Vedanta is Advaita Vedanta. Second was the Bhaskaracharya, 996 to 1061 AD, whose school is Bheda Advaita. Third is the Yadava Prakasha, around 1000 AD, that is Bheda school of Vedanta. Fourth is the Ramanujacharya, that is 1017 to 1127 AD, which the school is Vishishta Advaita. Then fifth one is the Madhvacharya during 1238 to 1317 AD, which is called Dvaita Vedanta. Then Nimbarka, during the latter half of 13th century, he propagated Dvaita philosophy of Vedanta. Next is the Shrikanta during 1270 AD, which is called Shaiva Vishishta Advaitam. Eighth is the Shripati, that is around 400 AD. It is called Bhedatmaka Vishishta Advaita. Ninth is Vallabhacharya's 1479 to 1548 AD, Shuddha Advaita. Then Shukacharya's 1550 AD, which is called Bhedavada. 11th is the Vijnana Bhikshu, around 1550 AD, Atma Brahmaikya Bhedavada. And Baldeva's 1725 AD, it is called Achintya Bheda. Here we will see brief summary of some of the important schools out of what we have seen just now. These are Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta, Ramanujacharya's Madhvacharya, Bhaskaracharya's Nimbarkacharya's, Vallabhacharya, Baladeva, and finally we will see a short recap on Brahma-sutra literature. So let us start with the first of the Vedanta philosophy propounded by Adi Shankaracharya during 788 AD to 820 AD, which is called Advaita Vedanta. The Adi Shankaracharya's Darshana or philosophy, as revealed in his bhashyas on the Bhagavad Gita, the 10 ancient Upanishads and the Brahma-sūtras, is now well known as Advaita Vedanta. The oft quoted and famous verse Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jiva Brahmeva Na Paravara, that is, Brahman alone is real. This world is only an illusory appearance. The Jiva is verily Brahman and is not different from him, gives this philosophy in a nutshell. Really speaking, Brahman does not get transformed into world. The multiplicity of names and forms is only a vivarta, an appearance due to avidya or ignorance. Even as a snake is perceived in a rope is in insufficient light. This he calls as adhyasa or adhyaropa, that is superimposition. Through vidya or discriminative knowledge, apavada or de-superimposition takes place, giving the true knowledge of reality. Shankara considers the jivas or as chaitanya or pure consciousness, but circumscribed by antakarana, the inner organ or mind. The jiva, though nitya, eternal, buddha, shuddha, that is pure, buddha, that is awakened, and mukta, that is free, appears as karta, the doer, and bhokta, the experiencer, due to the limitation imposed by the antakarana. The Upanishadic sentences like Tattvasi, that thou art, teach the essential identity between the jiva and Brahman as a pure consciousness after eliminating their adventitious qualities. Shankara does not accept krama mukti or gradual liberation of the jiva after death by travelling through the Devayana to Brahmalok as described in the Upanishads and the Brahma-sūtras. However, he is emphatic about Sadyamukti or instant liberation here and now, simultaneously with the rising of jnana or knowledge. Such mukti is also called Jivana Mukti, liberation even while living. Next philosophies by Ramanujacharya during 1017 to 1127 AD, named as Vishishta Advaita. The Ramanuja's commentary on the Brahma-sūtras is known as Shri Bhashya. Apart from this, he has also composed two more smaller works on the Brahma-sūtras, the Vedanta Deepa and the Vedanta Sara. The Vedanta Deepa, being latter work, contains some additional explanations. Ramanuja's Shri Bhashya is stated to follow the doorsteps of the more detailed Bodhayana Vritti, as also the works of some earlier Vedantins like Brahmanandi and Dramidacharya, whose works are not available now. Ramanuja accepts Brahman as the highest and independent reality. However, Brahman includes in itself Chit, that is sentient being, the jivas, and Achit, the insentient Prakriti or nature. These two are also real, but under the absolute control of Brahman. Brahman, also called Ishvara by him, includes them, is immanent in them, and also transcends them. Hence, Ramanuja's system is called Vishishta Advaita, the Advaita or non-duality of Brahman, the absolute but Vishishta or qualified by Chit and Achit. It is similar to a tree with branches, leaves and fruits. Though the tree is one, it has internal parts, each part being different from the other parts. The tree itself, however, always remaining as one. To Ramanuja, Brahman is the Supreme Person, Sarveshvara, who is the ruler of all. He is antagonistic to all evil. He possesses infinite auspicious qualities. He is omniscient and omnipotent. The creation, subsistence and reabsorption of the world proceed from him. Ramanuja considers the jiva or the individual soul as a spirit different from the body, atomic in size and endowed with jnana or consciousness, which contracts or expands. Jiva also has a free will, and the jivas are infinite in number. Some jivas called nityas are ever free. Others, who are now baddha or bound, can attain mukti through bhakti and prapatti, that is devotion and surrender, and the grace of God. All the liberated jivas are similar in nature. Spiritual life starts with the performance of the prescribed karmas in the right spirit, leading to the purification of the mind. Such pure jiva becomes fit to practice jnana and experience this separatedness from body-mind complex. However, it is through bhakti and prapatti that he ultimately attains Brahman through the Devayana and becomes free. Next is the philosophy, Vedanta philosophy by Madhvacharya during 1238 to 1378 AD, 17 AD, which is called Dvaita Vedanta. A thoroughgoing dualist, Madhva has composed 37 works which collectively go by the name Sarvamula. The short and terse bhashya on the Brahma-sūtras, the Anubhashya, a brief treatise on the same in the verses, Nyaya Vivarana and Anuvakhyana are the 4 works on the Sutra Prasthana. His is the philosophy of realism and monotheistic theology centering on devotion to Vishnu or Narayanam. According to him, Brahman, identified with Vishnu or Narayana, is the independent reality, Prakriti or matter, and the Jivas or souls, who are atomic and infinite in number, are cohal realities but entirely dependent on him. Brahman is essentially knowledge and bliss. Though his infinite personality is beyond our conception, out of grace for us, he can take forms which are neither material nor infinite. Madhvacharya proclaims the theory of Pancha-Bhedas or 5 eternal differences between Brahman and Jivas. That is, between Brahman and Jivas, Brahman and Prakriti, Jivas and Prakritis, Jivas and Jivas, and various objects of Prakriti. He categorizes the Jivas into 3 groups: Mukti Yogyas, Nitya Sansarins, and Tamo Yogyas. The first group is capable of attaining Mukti or liberation. The second group being interested only in the crass pleasure of the world and not a whit in moral regeneration or spiritual elevation, eternally goes through the rounds of births and deaths. The third group of Jivas, the damned sinners that they are, degenerates into lower births and suffers into hell. The Jivas get liberation through bhakti and the grace of God. In the state of liberation, they are not only freed from suffering but also enjoy positive bliss. Differences among the Jivas, however, persist even in the state of liberation. Next is a philosophy by Bhaskara during 1996-2061, known as Veda Vedantam. Bhaskara is the trailblazer for the post-Shankara schools of Vedanta, which did not agree with Shankara's brand of Advaita based on Mayavad, the theory of the unreality of this world. He is a strict Vedantin in the sense that he takes his stand on the Upanishads and the Brahma-sūtras. His commentary on the latter expounds his philosophy. Bhaskara advocates the acceptance of the direct meaning of all the passages of Upanishads without any distinction. He presents a Brahman who has innumerable auspicious attributes but without any particular form. He has a twofold power, the Bhoktra Shakti, the power of enjoyer, and the Bhogya Shakti, the power of the enjoyed. Using these 2 powers, he transforms himself into Achetan or insentient objects and the Jivas or the sentient souls. Though this transformation is real, it does not affect him in any way. Jivas in their essential nature are one with Brahman, but get differentiated from him in the state of bondage due to the upadhis or limiting adjuncts, the bodies and mind which are real. The upadhis, though real, are not nitya or eternal. They are to be considered as real since they are actually experienced, but in state of liberation they become one with Brahman even as the rivers flowing into the ocean becomes one with it. Bhaskara considers this world as the Karya Rupa or effect of Brahman and hence real. As regards the sadhana, Bhaskara recommends performance of scripture ordained duties without any desire for their fruits, and the practice of meditation on Brahman as also the jiva's oneness with him. Since he does not accept a personal God, there is no place for divine grace in his system. Next is the Nimbarka's Dvaita. Nimbarka's Dvaita is very similar to Bheda of Bhaskara. However, being a firm believer in Brahman with form and attributes and the path of devotion, his philosophy is more akin to the Ramanuja. Nimbarka's main work is Vedanta Parijat Saurabha, which is his commentary on Brahma-sūtras. It is rather brief but lucid, since he avoids the dialectical methods or flowery style. According to him, there are three equally real and co-eternal tattvas or principles: Brahman, Chit and Achit. While Brahman is the controller or Niyantra, Chit, the sentient being, the Jiva or the soul, is the enjoyer and Bhoktra, and Achit, the insentient nature, Prakriti, is enjoyed Bhogyam. Achit is of three kinds: Prakriti, or what is derived from Prakriti, Prakrita, or what is derived from Prakriti or primal matter; Aprakrita, or what is not derived from Prakriti but derived from a non-material substance of which the world Brahman is made; and Kala, or time. They are different from one another in their Swarupa or nature, but the Chit and Achit are Paratantra Tattvas, dependent realities. Nimbarka adopts the view that the Bheda, that is difference, and the Abheda, non-difference, are both equally real. They coexist but do not contradict each other. It is something like the relationship between the sea and its waves, or the sun and its rays. Chit and Achit, the souls and the universe, exist in Brahman from all eternity and never get separated from him, whether in the causal state or when manifested. They retain their individuality even during salvation or dissolution of the universe. Brahman is personal, possesses a celestial body, full of exquisite beauty and grace. Nimbarka identifies him with Krishna and posits Radha as his Shakti or consort, even as Ramanuja accepts Lakshmi as the consort of Vishnu Narayanam. Brahman is omniscient, the cause of the origin, sustenance and destruction of the universe. He is all-powerful and yet all-merciful. He is gracious to his devotees and helps them to have a direct vision of himself. The jivas are atomic and infinite in number. Each of them is a distinctive agent, a jatra, gyatra, knower, kartra, doer, and bhoktra, or enjoyer, of the karmas he does. They animate the body they live in, even as a small lamp kept in a room lights up the whole room. There are three destinies for the jiva: Naraka or hell for the sinners, Swarga or heaven for the virtuous, and Apavarga or release for the enlightened ones. Apavarga is attaining the world of Brahman from which there is no return. Constant meditation on Brahman as the innermost self, or the jivas, or the absolute individual soul, is the means of attaining Brahman in Brahmaloka. There he has Brahma Swarupa Labha. become similar to him in nature except for the power of creation. The other sadhanas recommended are scripture-ordered work, knowledge, devotion and surrender to God, as also strict obedience to the spiritual teacher. Next is the Vallabhacharya's philosophy during 1479 to 1544 AD, known as Shuddha Advaita. Vallabha's philosophy is known as Shuddha Advaita. He is said to have written 2 commentaries on Brahma-sūtras, the Brihadabhashya and the Anubhashya, of which the former is not available now. That is, Brihadabhashya is not available. The latter, that is Anubhashya, is up to 33rd Sutra of the 2nd Pada of 3rd Adhyaya only. The book was completed by his son Vitthalaநாth. Apart from Prasthayantraya, he holds the Bhagyavat in very high esteem. He wrote a commentary on it also called Subodhini, which too remained incomplete. For Vallabha, God, the Absolute, is Krishna, from the Upanishads called Brahman. He is one without a second and is Sat Chit Anand, being awareness and bliss. He has 3 forms: Parabrahman, Purushottam or Krishna, Antaryamin, the indwelling spirit of all living beings, the Akshara Brahman, which is the object of meditation and abode of Krishna. It is this Akshar that appears as Prakriti, that is insentient nature, the matrix of all created objects, and Purusha, that is sentient soul, the Jiva, but is beyond both. While Purushottama is the highest, Akshara is an expression of this. This Akshara again appears in 3 more forms: Kala, that is time, Karma, action, and Swabhava, that is nature. Kala or time is suprasensible and is inferred from its effects. It is all pervasive and the support of all beings. Karma or action is also universal. It manifests itself as different actions of different beings. Swabhava or nature is that which produces parinama or change. God is both Saguna and Nirguna, with and without attributes. He cannot be known except through his own grace. Through his Maya Shakti, he can become anything at any time. He is both the material and efficient cause of this world. He creates the world through his own nature and hence the Samavayi Karana or inherent cause. Though he exists everywhere in his tripartite nature as being, consciousness and bliss, their manifestation in the created universe differs. Matter reflects only the being aspect, that is Sat. The soul reflects the consciousness aspect also, that is Chit, whereas Brahman, he manifests all the 3 fully. Though unmanifest and transcendent in his own nature, by creating the world through his will, he becomes manifest and an object of comprehension. Since this world is manifestation of Brahman, it is never destroyed, but it only withdrawn into him at his will. The jivas or individual souls come out of Akshara Brahman like sparks from fire. They are eternal parts of Brahman and are atomic in size. They are of 3 classes: Pushti, Maryada and Pravaha. The first are the chosen ones, that is Pushti, ones enjoying the grace of God and ardently devoted to him. The second, Maryada, study the scriptures, perform the rites prescribed as ardent duties, and also cultivate devotion. They attain God in course of time. The last, that is Pravaha, are interested only in the worldly life and hence transmigrate constantly. Some of them, due to satsanga or good company, may attain God later. Vallabha considers bhakti or devotion as the only means of salvation. By that, the jiva is released from the cycle of birth and death and enjoys the bliss of God in all possible ways. Vallabha holds that the knower of Brahman is absorbed in Akshara Brahman and not in Purushottama. It is only through bhakti that the later, the highest aspect, can be attained. He advocates two forms of bhakti, Maryada Bhakti and Pushti Bhakti. The Maryada Bhakti is formal devotion to be practiced as described in the scriptures and has to be cultivated by self-effort. The latter is attained by the grace of God alone without one's effort. Pushti refers not to the physical nourishment but to the spiritual nourishment got by the grace of God. Hence the name Pushti Bhakti. Consequently, Vallabha's system is also called Pushti Marga, emphasis on the worship of Bala Krishna, that is child Krishna, and seva or service to him find an important place in the mode of sadhana taught by him. Next is the Baladeva's Vedanta philosophy. Baladeva is an important teacher of Bengal school of Vaishnavism, developed by Sri Krishna Chaitanya during 1485 to 1533 AD. The philosophy of his school is known as Achinta Bheda Ved. Govinda Bhashya is his commentary on the Brahma-sūtras. Siddhanta Ratna being another work that expounds this philosophy. The school, though deeply indebted to the Dvaita system of Madhva, also differs from it. According to this school of thought, Brahman is the highest reality, is Krishna, Vishnu or Hari. He is the personal God possessed of infinite auspicious qualities, which is Achinta or beyond our comprehension. He is Nirguna only in the sense that he is beyond the three gunas of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The scriptures are the only authority to reveal them. God has three powers, Parashakti, that is higher power, Aparashakti, the lower power, and Avidya Shakti, that is nation's power. Through the Parashakti, he becomes the efficient cause, and through the Aparashakti and Avidya Shakti becomes the material cause. When the latter two, that is Aparashakti and Avidya Shakti, are manifested in gross forms, the universe of souls and matter arises. Creation of the world is a spontaneous act of Lord. However, he does it as per the karmas of the individual souls. The individual soul is eternal. It is both knowledge and knower, an enjoyer, an ancient agent, though not independent. It is atomic in size. Bhakti is the sole and direct cause of salvation. Though dhyana or upasana, that is meditation, is one form of bhakti, it is through prema bhakti, that is intense devotion, that God can be realized. Performance of duties purifies the mind. Study of the scriptures is an aid in the path of sadhana. However, it is ultimately by the grace of God alone that he can be realized and salvation attained. The freed soul resides in the same world as the Lord and in his proximity, attains his nature and attributes. However, it retains its separate identity. Baladeva does not admit of Jivana Mukti or liberation while living in the body here. Let us now see the Brahma-sutra literature. This is being the basic text of Vedanta, both in its metaphysical and in its dialectical aspects. The Brahma-sutras has attracted the attention of the host of elite scholars over the centuries. Apart from direct bhashyas by the great acharyas, several sub-commentaries and glosses over them have enriched the Brahma-sutra literature. In such literature now available to us, the maximum number of works belong to the Advaita school of Vedanta. There is no gainsaying the fact that the Vedanta system based chiefly on the Brahma-sutras, which itself is a systematic exposition of the philosophy of the Upanishads has influenced all the important aspects of Hindu religion and culture, including the modern Hindu movement. Here we conclude the brief introduction to Hindu philosophy. We encourage you to explore more details to understand the systems and their philosophies. Thank you for listening.